Installation of screw-down under tile hatches, Aluclick-M Revizor. Preparing the frame for installation, spotting of mounting holes. Open the hatch door and drill the holes from the outside at a distance of 10 to 15 centimeters from the corner. Preparing of aperture for the hatch installation. It is very rare that an aperture is made perfectly. Usually, apertures are irregular. Check the position of the hatch with the carpenter's level. Straighten it. If necessary, fix with clamps. It is very important to place the hatch in the aperture so that the hatch door moved forward at 2 to 3 millimeters towards the front of the wall. This installation feature gives the possibility of the hatch lock working, which only takes 3 millimeters to work out. Underlay wedges between the aperture and the lower horizontal plane of the frame to be able to adjust the position of the hatch in the future. Through ready-made holes in the hatch frame, drill the marks in the edges of the aperture for later fastening of the hatch. Take the hatch out of the aperture. In labeling marks, drill the holes in the edges of the aperture. Plug the dowels into the holes drilled in the edges of the aperture. Installation of the hatch into the aperture. Put the hatch into the aperture. Fasten the hatch frame to the aperture with self-tapping screws. Estimate the position of the vertical frame plane by the carpenter's level. If necessary, tighten or loosen the self-tapping screws in the vertical plane to change the frame tilt angle. Carpenter's level. Estimate overall frame position. Make the lack of distortions by tightening or loosening the self-tapping screws on each of the frame planes. If you cannot reach adjusting with the screws, then carry out finishing edges of the aperture development. As a rule, it is enough to eliminate small irregularities of the edges or to correct aperture angles geometry. Adjusting the position of the hatch door. Adjust the gap between the door and the hatch frame. Vertical adjustment, horizontal adjustment. Incorrect. The gap is not adjusted. The hatch door will be sagged and closed badly. Incorrect. The door angle tilt is not adjusted. The door will hang onto the frame. Door offset left, right, and tilt adjustment. Make adjustment of the hatch door by tightening or loosening the adjustment screws on the hinges. Unscrewing the adjustment screw, we reduce the gap at the hinge side. Screwing in, we increase it. Door height adjustment. Loosen the lock nut and make the height adjustment. Important. Pulling the top screw, it is necessary to loosen the lower one for the same number of turns. After adjustment, tighten the lock nuts. When proper installation and adjustment, the gaps between the frame and the hatch door are the same on all the sides and are 3 to 4 millimeters. Hatch door decoration, tile gluing and sealant applying. The best options of glue are glue for tiles or liquid nails. By no means is it possible to glue tiles on the hatch door with the silicone sealant. Sealant is elastic. It springs when dry. This results that rubbing between the tiles are poured. Attention! Before you glue the tile, you should do layout taking into account the position of the hatch. Tiles on the hatch door and on the outer hatch frame perimeter should be unified and make a united image. Ensure that the proposed layout is not intended to trim tiles hiding the hatch. Experienced masters begin gluing the tiles from the wall where there is a hatch. Tiles should extend beyond the hatch door. Apply silicone sealant on the lateral edges of tiles glued to the hatch door. It is for depreciation of the mechanical impact at door closing. To this end, tile edges are cleared from the building dust. On the face of the tiles, glue masking tape on both sides from the gap at the perimeter of the door. Silicone sealant is applied to the inside of the gap around the perimeter of the hatch door by a layer of 1 to 1.5 millimeters. Thicken the sealant. You can simply slide your finger on the seam perimeter. Remove the masking tape. Next, you need to wait for the complete drying of the sealant. It can take from several hours to a day depending on the sealant brand. Cut the door aperture with a sharp knife. The knife should be held at an angle of 30 to 40 degrees, with the blade sloped towards the inside of the hatch. You should cut so that the detachable portion of the sealant will be on the edge of the hatch tiles rather than on the tile's edge closing the frame. Open the door and remove excess of the sealant from anywhere except the side edge of the tiles. Revizor hatch is ready for use. Coliseum Technologies manufacturer.